In today's stream, we will be focusing on React lazy loading. I'm not sure if I told you yesterday, but the plan for today was to introduce lazy loading to our website just to be able to decrease the size just a tiny bit, like just to decrease a tiny amount because the components that we load in here are not big enough. Okay, cool. So let me explain what the plan is, or let me explain what the task is about. So in here, you see my browser router, right? This browser router routes to several different places depending on where I click. So if I click on the blog in here, it routes to the blog, right? Okay, so, but I'm gonna show you something. So I've cleaned up our, like, what do you call this place? Network activity log in here. And then when I click on blog, it just downloads an SVG and the JPEG. The JPEG is in here and the SVG is in there. It doesn't download anything else. And if I introduce a three second latency monster, it just does 3 seconds of latency for me. And then click blog, it's going to load instantly, and this picture is going to come here like 3 seconds later, right? Because we have a 3 second latency. Okay, React, and then I'm going to do the same thing after we complete the task of this specific stream, and then you're going to see what lazy loading means, and also what are the pros and cons of it. Sometimes it's not worth doing it. This stream is all about why you sometimes should or should not do lazy loading. All right, let's get started. So we have something called React suspense and lazy imports. I'm going to apply this principle to the blog post that sorry, not the blog post, the blog component that I have in here. So I'm going to lazy import the blog components. So that means it's not going to be loaded when I load my website. It's going to decrease, it's slightly going to decrease the size of my website. However, it will not load instantly if the latency is huge. So let me prove the point in here. Okay. So let's start by just copying all of these things over. Let's start by implementing lazy loading for the blog components. So we're going to copy this, paste this in here, and also copy this, paste it in there, remove blog. We're going to wrap it with suspense tags. Well, not that one, just this one. And we're also going to import these ones. Let's add these there, clean it up. Yeah, so this does lazy imports for the blog component now. And if we go to the website, as you can see, nothing has changed, right? Everything looks the same. If I click on blog, we navigate to the blog. Well, the image took a while to load, but anyway, that's not the point, right? If you go back, if you click the blog, it's already there. Everything is right there. So let's go back to the home page. It's lazily loading now. Yes, we've probably saved a tiny amount. We're going to check how much we've saved in a bit, but before we do that, let me show you one thing that lazy loading does to your website. I'm not sure if you want this or not, so I'm just going to show you, right? So let's introduce latency monster to our website, which adds a 3 second latency to all of the requests that we send. Now I'm going to click the blog component, and we are going to wait 3 seconds until the blog component loads, because we have to send a request to get the chunk. The chunk contains all of the data that we are going to show on the page, all of the text that we're going to show on the page, probably all the styles and everything else, right? Let's go back and let's disable the latency monster. And also let's stash our changes. Actually, before we stash our changes, I'm going to do something else. One sec. Let me grab a piece of paper from here. I'm going to take a note of the previous size of the website before we introduce lazy loading. So let's pick an image from here. Okay, let's see how big the website is when you are on this specific image. All right, let's get back to that image again, the same one. I just have to keep hitting refresh until I get the same image, sorry. I have to introduce a better way of testing the website, so when it's running on debug, it shouldn't be shuffling images around. But anyway, so it's 234 and okay, let me write down that number. 234 805. Okay, so I'm looking at this specific number here that pops up right there when I hover over 2.2 megs. Right, we had that number before on this specific image, right? So let's stash all of our changes. And let's keep refreshing the website until we get the same image. I'm just going to see how much space we've saved. It's probably going to be nothing because the blog component is tiny. Come on. All right. Okay. 234 8701. So it's only like how much? So it's less than a kilobyte of savings just to export, like take out the blog component or load it lazily. So it used to be 234 8005, and now if you don't lazy load it, it's 234 8701, which is 700 bytes more, 0.7 kilobytes more. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. And the best part is, if we introduce the latency monster now, and if you click on blog, it's instantly going to load. And these images are going to come later. But the point is, lazily loading components sometimes comes at a cost. And if you don't lazily load it, it's already loaded when you just enter the website. And imagine if the user is on a slow or high latency network like their mobile phones, or imagine if they're on the tubes, like you get reception and then you open the website, and imagine if they require internet to open the blog just to download 0.7 kilobytes. It's not really important, but if they don't have the connection or if the latency is high, you're gonna cause the users to wait more than you've expected them to. Like you're shaving off 0.7 kilobytes, yes, but you're adding a huge latency if they want to enter the blog on a slow net or like high latency network connection. So I'm not gonna introduce this change to the blog component, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep the technology in here, don't get me wrong. I'm just gonna do it for this CV component because I do not use the CV component. There's no way to navigate to it unless you do /CV. Right now, there's no way to navigate to it. I'm still planning on doing it, but at a later stage. So the plan for now is to only do this for the CV components. We're gonna save some space, not a lot, but we are gonna save some space, right? Okay, so let's change this to CV. Well, this is going to be blog, and this is going to be CV. You're not going to save much space, yeah, but still, it's something. Yeah, we probably saved like half a kilobyte or something. It's nothing. But yeah, I just wanted to show you how this works. Cool. And this is literally it. So keep this in mind. If the component that you're going to lazy load is tiny, just don't lazy load it because you're going to introduce a huge latency on the user's end. I hope the message was clear. And also, while doing the stream yesterday about how minimize CSS could save you a tiny amount of space, I've discovered on our project that we are still using bootstrap.css in many other places, and we don't really need them, so we can just get rid of them and make it a bit smaller again. So even we don't need to import bootstrap.css in any of these components because we've imported it in the index.js file, which is the top level component, right? So I can just delete them from here and it's not going to make a difference. Right. Oh, let's disable latency monster. Okay, let's go back online. Yeah. So this is how you lazily load components, but don't do it if your component is tiny. So that's it for today, I guess. I'm not sure if I have any other tasks. Actually, I do have lots of tasks, but I'm not sure if I have any other tasks for today. I'm gonna take a look into the board, but if I do another stream today, I don't think so. I'll probably do some more reading about how everything works in React. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this stream, and I hope it was informative, and I'll see you on a later one. All right, bye. Have a good evening.